Today is March 12th, 2016. Joining us on the porch are John Lamphere and Adam Schmidtmann with the cast of Seussical Jr.
The best place for family. What are you waiting for? Where friendships run deeper. Come join us on the porch. So glad you're on the porch.
Hey kids, you've made it another week for another exciting episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. I'm your host, Matthew Wood, and I just got back from Arizona. I went on a trip with one of our guests this evening, John Lamphere, and I. It happened really interesting. I actually went down to his office here on the Cayuga Community College campus. Oh yeah, by the way, we're recording from the Cayuga Community College campus in Fulton. Yeah, the extension site. Pretty sweet that they're here allowing us to be using the stage at the CNY Arts Center. It's a pretty awesome collaboration between On the Porch and Cayuga Community College and the CNY Arts Center. I'm pretty excited to be here. And one of the reasons I'm really excited to be here is not just because this is a cool place with a cool stage and lights and a really awesome audience, but also because I was able to connect with John down in his office. I was down there talking to him about the upcoming show and, what kind of things he could expect and what kind of things I could expect and the kind of things we wanted to talk about. And while we were in the middle of the conversation, he gets a phone call and he's, excuse me, and all that stuff. And so I started to walk out of the office and I heard, what? Really? And I look in through the door and he's not quite sheet white, but pretty close. And he hangs up the phone and he says, "Have you ever been to Arizona?" I said, "Well, I think so," but I couldn't remember. And he said, "Let's go." And I got in his vehicle and we then drove cross country to Arizona. And, we were probably halfway there when I finally turned to him and I said, "What are we doing?" He was like, "Oh yeah, right." So he explained to me that the guy that called was asking him if he could have his permission to marry his daughter. And so John was like, "We're going." And then I thought, "Oh no, what are we doing? Do you know the guy? Is this bad? Should I have grabbed a pair of running shoes? Were we in trouble?" And he gave me the whole "No, I just want to talk to him a little bit. That's all. Just want to get to know him." I said, "Oh, okay." So I sat in the car the whole time. I didn't see a thing. So if any, police officers come knocking on my door, I wasn't a witness to anything. I didn't see it. I don't know anything about it. He did come out a little out of breath, but I think it was just it was a long walk. He parked at the end of the driveway, and it was way if you've ever been to Arizona, there's walking that happens, and that's what he was very good at that from the road to the house and back. He decided he wanted to go through the backyard. I don't know. I think that's just how people do things in Arizona. But anyway, so we were there and we were driving, and it was a good time. I got to know him really well, and I figured, you really need to be on the show now because I want people to get to know you as well as I did. And he said, "No, we'll just talk about the college and the really cool things we're doing." And I said, that's a great start too. That's how we started. So then we were chatting and we got back and then we decided we would, whip the Seussical Jr cast into shape and bring them up on stage. So we're going to be chatting with Adam Schmidtmann too, who's the director of that show. We're going to hear from the cast now and later. So until we get to the later Seussical Jr cast, you're on the porch.
I can see that you've got quite a mind for your age. Why, one thing, and you've dragged me right onto the stage. Now that I'm here, there's no telling what may ensue with a cat such as me and a thinker like you. Oh, the things you can think. Oh, the things you can think if you're willing to try. Think invisible ink, or a gink with a stink, or a stare to the sky. If you open your mind, oh, the things you will find lining up to get loose. Oh, the things you can think when you think about
Seuss! Seuss! Seuss!
elephant up in a tree.
Think of a person too tiny to see.
Think of a bird with a one-feathered tail, going on adventure down a dangerous trail. Ah!
Think of a bird who flies off on a spree.
Think of a kangaroo, sour as can be. Think of some monkeys with trouble in store. Something sinister and scary that you never dared to think of before. Think of nobody here, and the feeling of fear, and the darkness of night. Ooh. All alone in your room, as you're facing your doom.
Think a glimmer of light.
Ah,
But I hope you're prepared to be scareder than scared.
'cause this ain't Mother Goose.
Danger's right on the brink.
When you think about Seuss, 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 Seuss.
An unusual story will soon be unfurled of an elephant trying to save a small world. And a boy from that world who has things just like you.
Just think! From the planet of Who, in the smallest of small, to the jungle of Newell.
And the largest of all.
You think and 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 think. Just think! Oh, the things you can think. Think and wonder and dream far as wide as you dare. When your things have run dry, in the blink of an eye, there's another think there. If you open your mind, oh, the things you will find lining up to get loose. All the things you can think, 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 all the things you can think. When you think about Seuss, when you think about Seuss, when you think about Seuss, 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 Seuss.
So since 1991, John Lamphere has been working with Cayuga Community College, teaching classes as an adjunct professor, and has been involved in many things there. And for the last 3 years, has been involved in the administration as vice president and dean for this campus, John?
Campus. That's correct. River Glen. Yep.
Nice. And I'm not sure of everything that you've been doing since 1991, but whatever you've been doing since you've been here, and the staff that you've been working with and the things that you guys have been doing has been really cool. It's been neat to watch this place evolve.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. When you, I'm trying to think, I'm really bad with timelines. How long has this campus at River Glen been operating as a school?
Unfortunately, what happened a couple of years ago was at a county ledge meeting, and one of the legislators said we're the best kept secret in Oswego County, and that really perturbed me.
Yeah.
Cayuga's been involved. This is a pretty strange situation we have right now. And first of all, can I say this is a tough act to follow?
Yeah, yeah, they did really well.
These guys, this is like, I'm secondary coming on after them. We've been, of course, we're Cayuga Community College, and here we are in Oswego County. There's only one other, truly one like this in the state. So we've been here 22 years. At this site, we've been here since 2012. This is our fourth site. This is our last site. Okay.
Good call.
We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. They're going to be here a lot longer after I get out of here. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I guess that it has been one of the best kept secrets because I graduated from Cayuga Community College, and the majority of my classes I took at a Fulton Extension.
Right, over on Broadway?
No, I took most of my classes at the
old Sacred
the
Heart.
old church, the old church school.
Sure.
So it's I didn't realize 22 years.
Yeah, we're a full campus now. We're not an extension anymore. We're a full campus.
All right.
So we offer every single course at our site as they do in Auburn, with the exception of telecom, but we have everything else here.
Holy cow! I didn't realize that. That's really exciting.
Yep, it is. It's a good gig.
When I was talking to John before the show, he printed me off a map of the kind of like the layout of this site, and so this is the old like Kmart and PNC used to be here, and there were some shops along here. I actually used to work in this building.
Did you really?
Yeah, and this I used to work for Fashion Bug, which they actually had men's clothes when I worked here. They actually, when I started, they had a rack of like, I think it had 6 shirts and a pair of pants. I think the pair of pants had been returned from another store. But so those 6 shirts were there for a couple months, and then they got rid of the clothes but kept me on. So that was a cool experience. But I like it as a theater better. I like this space better as an arts center than I did as an apparel shop. So I think with that you get a big thumbs up. But the only spot that you're not utilizing, you are as the Cayuga Community College isn't using, is the spot next door, the Kmart spot. And so looking at this site plan before the show, I'm here a lot, but I haven't been in that part of the building very much. So I'm going to have to get over there because there's some really cool things happening here. But when you started on this spot at River Glen, were you just in where PNC used to be, and then you've kind of extended this way?
That's correct. We were in it's sad when for the first 2 years we were the college at Kmart. And that's not a good moniker whatsoever, Yeah. And I can remember the first day we came here, the Kmart sign was up on the marquee and it said closing. and that didn't go over well either. So that was one of the first things we took down.
Yeah.
Initially, the company that renovated this site, that's all they do. It's called JMZ Associates, and I'm a Gettysburg historian, hence why I have my Gettysburg. I think you said, am I going to Gettysburg? Well, yeah, I about lived there, and I'm a tour guide at Gettysburg, and there's a campus just off of the battlefield, one of 5 Harrisburg area community colleges, Hack. How would you like to say I graduated from Hack? It is a very good school, by the way, so if you're hearing me down there, I apologize. But if you walk into their main campus, it's the same as walking into our campus. It's absolutely identical because we have the same open foyer where you're surrounding the library and the open space, and it's almost, a guy once told me, Vujade all over, and it's just about like that. It's a really nice setup. So initially we're in over here, and 3 years ago when I acquired this position, I was given the task, let's move out and expand down through here. And we wound up with a bookstore as one. And then one day I met this rather robust, energetic woman and her sidekick. They're almost like Batman and Robin. I think they're sitting over here right now. They
sure are.
And I was told by the interim president, I want an art center. And when I started inquiring, I said, I don't know of any art centers. And somehow everybody kept saying these two. And if you had a camera, you'd see these two. Here we are.
Yeah.
It's a unique partnership, but it's working out very well. And you say, you like being in here? Well, we like having them in here because of stuff like this. It is. It's a very unique setup. And we're enjoying it so far.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that from some of the people that I've talked to that have taken classes here and that are taking classes here currently, it has a really comfortable feel to it. It's very welcoming. There's space for students to hang out. Just opened a new student lounge area. The student center.
A couple of doors over. We're doing a collaboration between City, which is Oswego County's BOCES city, capital C-I-T-I. And it's one of the first of its kind. And in this collaboration, we're currently, if you walk down, you'll see that we're renovating 4 more spaces. And these are going to include what we call as a health cluster.
Yep.
And we're having medical assistant, dental hygienist, certified occupational therapy assistant lab in collaboration with Oswego Health, advanced manufacturing through partners with Novelis and Hudamaki and some other Oswego County businesses, we're doing classes right now in that. We just started an LPN course on top of our, I don't want to sound like a bragger here, on top of our award-winning RN course, which has a backlog of about 6 years of students. Some of these kids right here, I think they could take the test today and they may get in the course in about that time because we have that many people wanting to get into it. And cross your fingers, I believe we're going to have Oswego County's YMCA right next door. So that's something we're really shooting for. So.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, not only are you doing some really cool things here, but you're bringing in some long-term thinking and some what feels like longevity. It feels like
I'm not kidding you. We're here to stay.
Yeah, there's an anchor here.
I didn't mean that just as a motto. And we're not going to be held the best kept secret. The words, when you say Cayuga Community College, we're trying to get a new definition of the word community. Community just doesn't simply mean it's a community college, but what the word community means.
Yes.
And community means partnerships, alliances, partner with these two ladies and their entourage over here, working with county agencies, volunteer agencies of all sorts, law enforcement, fire service, emergency services. That's what I look at as community.
Yeah.
So it's working.
Yeah, it is.
Working.
It is. And, I think that with your history, being involved in the criminal justice system, being a sheriff, working in Cayuga County the way that you did, I think is a really wise move on the college's part because you've been involved in the community. You've been doing a lot of things. You've seen a lot of different sides of the community, and it's. I think it's a really nice perspective.
Well, it is, and it's not about me. I know I'm the one talking in the microphone right now, but it's not about John Lamphere. It's about all the people that work for this college, all the people that do other stuff. I mean, one guy gives directions, but it takes the group to turn something into something very good. So
that's right.
Are you giving us the move ahead signal, or are you just playing over there? Okay.
I did get the red plate though. So what I'd like for you to do, John, before I kick you off the stage, is I would like you to tell everybody how they can contact the college, how they can learn more about taking classes, how they can be involved, be part of the community that you're creating here.
We have a very aggressive admissions office, and we hold open houses, open testing all the time. If you look on the Cayuga Community College website, it's, just Google Cayuga Community College. It's going to pop right up. You can, we open for anybody. If you want to come here, our admission staff will take you around. We'll give you the tours. We'll let you sit in and look at stuff. I think I spend half my time as a tour guide. We want you to come up here. This is not just geared for your traditional student leaving high school, wanting to go into a college setting, but this is for the adult learner, the non-traditional learner. This is for the online people. This is for people who just want to take a course and have fun.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It means just that. We have so many people who come in and say, I just want to take a course. We got a whole bunch of them. Which one do you want?
That's right. That's right.
And then we'll let you. So I say I'm the face of this college up here, this campus. I'm one of the faces. But if you see me, stop, ask me, I'll talk about it. I graduated from here in 1974. I'm older in dirt, and I'm an alumnus of this place. So I know the importance of this. We're here. Come on up. Come see us.
That's right. Thank you.
Thanks
so much, John Lamphere, for
appreciate
taking
it.
time. Yeah.
Okay.
My hope is that the community hears more and more and learns more and more about the college that's here, because it really is a nice addition to our community. Now, I know that he said he wanted to be here, and the point is that they're never going to leave here. But if you ever have to get bigger, the Nestle's plant is looking for people to move in.
You gotta remember, I have 2 daughters, too.
That's right. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, he does. So I ended up on this trek to Arizona, but when we got back, he got a phone call that he's going to be a grandpa too, which is really exciting. So, yeah. Well done, sir. Well done. And now, a word from our sponsor. In 1834, 3 English gentlemen paid a guide and a photographer to take them fly fishing in Ireland. On the second day of the trip, Hugh Adamson walked behind his longtime ex-friend Raymond Cowden. Cowden was in the middle of a roll cast and, not seeing Adamson, performed an expertly executed follow-through. Feeling a slight tug, Cowden turned to see his lead-eyed bucktail firmly lodged in Adamson's eyelid. The trip guide, Garrett Dwerryhouse, arrived on the scene and quickly exclaimed, "Parkinson, get that contraption over here and acquire a photograph of this." It was, unintentionally, that day that the art of medical imaging technology was created. In the 1940s, the use of medical imaging really took off. And for the last 176 years, professional makers of medical images know something good when they see it, which is why they have chosen to be tonight's sponsor of On the Porch Radio Hour. From chainsaw injury photos to x-rays to MRIs to pictures of your unborn child, the experts of medical imaging want you to know that when you say, "It feels like it's broken," they can see right through you. Literally. So hop up on that metal table and snuggle in under that lead blanket and bear all. Well, you don't have to worry about bearing anything. The folks at Medical Imaging can see you inside and out just fine. Don't worry about which bone to pick with our sponsor and friends of Medical Imaging. They can see all of them. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. You're in good hands and good company. You don't have to say a word. Our friends of Medical Images will get to know you and every layer. Medical Imaging Technology, proud sponsor of On the Porch Radio Hour. You're listening to On the Porch Radio Hour. We'll be back in a moment.
This is what's happening in Central New York. The Oswego Music Hall welcomes Kaylee Rain on March 19th at 7:30 p.m. and the Atkinson Family Bluegrass Band on April 2nd. The Music Hall also hosts open mic nights on March 18th and April 1st. Visit oswegomusichall.org for more information. The Oswego Players production of Tuesdays with Maury closes this weekend. For more information or to purchase tickets, call 315-343-5138. Lakeside Artisans in Oswego offers a paint night on March 14th at 7 p.m. For more information, call 315-342-8880. The Children's Museum of Oswego hosts their first adult trivia night on Friday, March 18th at 7:30 p.m. at Alex's on the Water in Oswego. Call 315-326-1110 for more information. The Collette Theater and Conference Center is hosting an evening with Grammy Award-winning songwriter Mark Cohn on Friday, March 18th, as well as upcoming screenings of Heaven is for Real and Creed. To find out about these and other events at the theater or to purchase tickets, visit ColetteTheater.com or call 315-298-0007. The Love Song of R. Buckminster Fuller is a multimedia presentation designed by Academy Award-nominated filmmaker Sam Green and presented on Wednesday, March 16th at 7:30 p.m. in the Hewitt Ballroom, SUNY Oswego. Call 315-312-2141 for more information. The CNY Arts Center hosts an Authors Spotlight series on March 13th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Come meet and hear from local authors. Authors will be available for book signings. The authors presented on March 13th will be Margaret Streitenberger and Justin Johnson, who is a kindergarten teacher at Fairgrave Elementary School. The CNY Arts Center is also currently in rehearsals for Seussical Jr., which will open on April 1st. Auditions for the next production, A Midsummer Night's Dream, will be held March 17th from 7 to 9:30 p.m. and March 19th from 2 to 5 p.m. The Arts Center also offers a monthly Writers Cafe where writers of all ages can come and share their work in a casual setting. The next session is March 13th. For more information about these as well as other projects and events at the CNY Arts Center, visit cnyartscenter.com. The Wooden Apple Farmstead is the home of Red Room Sessions, a time for songwriters, musicians, and anyone else who wants to build their musical skills and knowledge to get together. We share songs we are working on, bounce musical ideas off each other, and we usually have time to just play a little music. This is a supportive environment where all levels of songwriting and musical experience are welcome. The next session is April 24th at 6 p.m. Call 315-591-0711 for more information.
So I want to welcome back for his third appearance on the Porch Radio Hour. I think it's third. He's an alum of the On the Porch crew. And I think the first time, oh boy, it might be more than 3. Anyway, we've had Adam Schmidtmann on for several of the shows that have been performed with the CNY Arts Center. And we also had Adam on as a guest to sing some Broadway tunes,
Broadway
right?
Spectacular.
The Broadway Spectacular, which is pretty cool. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
feel like
man.
a Hall of Famer of
You
On
kind
the
of are.
Porch.
Yeah, you're kind of a big deal.
Like the Porch of Fame.
Oh,
Yeah. Copyright.
that
I
might
got
have that might have just happened.
You can
Yep.
steal it. It's okay. You can steal
Yep.
it. Porch of Fame. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we'll do is we will. Oh yeah. Okay. No. We'll. Oh. I just had this really awesome idea.
And we're back.
Welcome to the show, Adam. Thanks for being on again.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. I just wanted to say that again, and then we'll figure out what parts we want to edit out and which parts we want to keep in.
Fantastic.
All right. So when you were thinking about the possibility of directing again or being involved in another show with a youth cast,
Yes.
and there were people talking about it, and you were making decisions, what was the main selling point for Seussical Jr.?
For me, it's the show itself, the full version, Seussical, the musical. I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite shows. My high school did it the year after I graduated, so I was kind of sad about that. But it was a fantastic show, and I fell in love with the music, and that's basically the main selling point for me wanting to direct it.
That's awesome. So when I learned about Seussical the musical, it was only maybe 2 years ago, maybe. And so, and I know you're not that old. However,
Thank you.
You know, for you to say that you were performing in it in high school, or right? Is that what you say in high school?
The year after
The
I
year after high
graduated,
school.
yeah.
Okay, so you're performing in it the year after you graduate from high school. Then it's been around for a while. So
Yeah.
another check mark in the win column for you and the CNY Arts Center, because you're bringing cool stuff that even I didn't know about.
Awesome. I'm glad that that's happening.
Yeah, me too.
People can see new stuff that they may not have heard of before.
Yeah, and you're giving a lot of kids an opportunity. So that's really exciting. What we're going to do, though, is I'm going to interrupt myself.
Okay.
And we're going to give a youth an opportunity. I don't like that word. Help me figure out a different word for youth. So anyway, we're going to bring it. I don't like kids either, but we're going to bring one of the cast members up.
Younger people.
Yeah, we're going to bring up a
adults.
cast member, and we're going to have them sing a little number, and then we're going to continue our interview.
Awesome.
But we're going to break it up with some music. Who's your horse? Oh, yeah, set it up.
Let's do Notice Me Horton, which is sung by Gertrude McFuzz and Horton the Elephant. And Gertrude is in love with Horton, but Horton does not seem to notice her. He's too preoccupied with his clover and the speck of dust on that clover. So this is her trying to get his attention, and Horton consumed by the clover.
My eyes are too small. I have very large feet, and I'm not very proud of my pitiful tweet. But I've now got a tail. That is something to see.
102, 103.
Oh, notice me, Horton, feather by feather. This is your next door neighbor calling. Notice me, Horton, Horton together. We could be great. Oh, notice me, Horton, put down that clover. This is clovers turned over.
Over and over, clover by clover.
I was just a no one only yesterday. You showed up and showed me something more. Now I've become a someone who has someone to believe in and to be there for. I will not give up hope. I was hooked from the start. When I noticed your kind and your powerful heart. So notice me, Horton.
Or the world would be something new.
Notice me, Horton.
If they noticed a thing or two.
Notice me, Horton. The way I notice you.
So that was Harper Ells as Gertrude McFuzz. She's done a couple shows here at the CNY Arts Center. Yeah. She's done a couple shows here at the CNY Arts Center. And that was Michael Girth, who sang for Horton the Elephant. And this was his CNY Arts Center debut.
All right. That was cool.
It was.
Yeah.
I liked it.
So Adam, I'm going to ask you to give us the skinny. Like, break down when is the show? What are the details?
I can tell you because I know this without looking at anything.
You've memorized it. This guy.
It opens April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and April 8th, 9th, and 10th. The Friday and Saturday shows are at 7 p.m. The Sunday shows are at 3 p.m. Tickets are $12 for adults, $10 for students and seniors. If you happen to be 5 through 9, you pay your age. And if you're under 5, you're free.
Come on.
I mean, you're not free, but you come in for free and you see the show for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
And it is right here at the CNY Arts Center next to the Cayuga Community College.
Yeah. In River Glen Plaza.
Yes.
Is that correct? I never remember if it's a plaza or a... I don't... Thanks. Wow. We have
the
good
studio
fans.
audience.
The studio audience live.
It's live.
And if you can't remember all of that information, you can contact the CNY Arts Center, or you can look around town for these really neat flyers that are hanging up everywhere, some pretty cool posters. They've got a nice graphic arts design team working for them here.
Who is our graphic arts design team, Matt?
Me.
And you do a fantastic job.
Thanks, Adam. Just wanted to... Yeah, let's give that guy an applause.
Yeah.
Let's give that Matthew Wood a little bit of love there.
Yes, you can purchase tickets online at www.cnyartscenter.com or by calling 315-598-ARTS, A-R-T-S, or 598-2787.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
It is.
So, Adam, when you're not leading a group of cast members through a really awesome show production, what other kind of things are you doing with the CNY Arts Center?
I am involved with the theater committee here, which deals a lot with the theater, the decisions that are made, and the things to make the theater a better experience for everyone involved. And I'm also on stage a lot for the CNY Arts Center as well.
Yeah.
So I actually do some acting and singing myself.
Which is really cool. What would that make you, a Renaissance man, maybe?
Sure.
Trying to learn these really cool terms.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. I think you've hit on a really cool point, and that is that not only does the CNY Arts Center provide a lot of opportunities because they have this thing called Artie Camp where they have classes for kids to come in and well, not just kids, but people get to come in and do all sorts of stuff, you know. And
Correct.
for Artie Camp, they've got acting things, and there was an improv class, and there's painting and drawing and all sorts of things that are happening. Storytelling. Adults can come in and do all sorts of stuff. But they also have committees that are working on all of these individual things.
Correct.
And so how many members do you think, or how many people are sitting on the theater board committee? It's a committee, not a board, technically.
There are 12 or 13 of us.
So somewhere
that are
between
on
a dozen and a baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Averaging out at 12 and a half people. That's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
What's that?
Theater
It's a
dozen.
theater dozen. I like that. So I'm getting sidetracked, as it is my job. It's in my job description to get sidetracked. This is an excellent audience. So if we could come back to the CNY Arts Center and do some more shows from here and have the audience come back, that would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll entice you back with some popcorn or something next time. We'll make soft pretzels.
They even made signs for us, like "We love Matt," "Adam's the best." It was really nice of them to do that.
Yeah. It's
It was
like,
really nice.
what is it? It's like the Good Morning America.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, they're going crazy out there. It's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a mini celebrity up here for us. Yeah, it's great.
Boom. So let's make a couple more celebrities right now. Let's
Yeah.
bring up somebody else to do another number. Let's just bring up one.
Okay.
I'm tired of having a lot of people up here.
Okay.
So let's just bring up one person.
All right.
That would work out better. Oh. Who do you want? Your job.
How about Jocelyn Thomas?
Hey.
Come on down.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. Jocelyn Thomas is playing JoJo. She is going to be singing a part of a song called It's Possible, which is completely his, the character's boy in the show, his imagination, and he's imagining all the possibilities as he uses his mind, and the cat tells him, if you just think it, it'll happen. Use your imagination. Anything is possible. So here's Jocelyn.
This might be a pool like I've read of in books, connected to one of those underground brooks, an underground river that starts here and flows right under this bathtub, and then who knows? It's possible. Anything's possible. This might go along down where no one can see. We're under State Highway 203. We're under the wagons, right under the toes of Mrs. Umbruso, who's hanging out clothes. It's possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
There it is. She brought her entourage with her as well.
That's because we have nothing but professionals.
That's right.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time we have professionals here. So, Adam.
Yes.
Are you allowed to share any upcoming things that are happening for the theater past Seussical?
I believe I am. And I
Boom.
also don't need anything for this. Yes, I do. As you heard, there are auditions for Midsummer's Night Dream.
Yeah.
Of course, the Shakespeare, which will be directed by Amy Price, who's also one of the producers for this show. And the audition dates, because I know you're all asking and wondering, and I will tell you, it is March 17th from 7 to 9:30 and March 19th from 2 to 5 p.m.
Awesome. And so Nancy, there's people should be going to the website periodically because there are things that are getting posted, and I know that summer is coming and there will be things happening here during the summer.
Yes, like Artie Camp.
Yep.
Artie Camp will be happening. And I can talk about that whenever. All right. So there are 2 3-week sessions, and they will both be directed by myself and my stage manager, Jessica Tetro.
Boom.
And she'll be the lead director and teacher on that, so I'll be helping her out with that.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be doing a couple shows over the summer. So make sure the kids come out and sign up for Artie Camp. It's the last 3 weekends in July 11th through the 29th, first 3 weeks in August.
Awesome. That's really exciting. Yeah. That's good. Now, is that the same length that it was last year? It feels to me like that is, yeah? Right. Okay.
Correct.
So,
2
yeah,
3
6
sessions.
weeks of excellent opportunity.
2 different shows. Yes, two different
shows, yeah. Cool.
They can sign up for one or both, even better.
Yeah, way better. Tell us real quick, because you have a really awesome staff that are working with you for Seussical.
I do.
So who else is working with you on this?
Well, I have Gina Holsapple, of course, who's the musical director. Some of you may know her, which I hope everybody. We have my choreographer, Jessie Dobrinsky, and this is her debut with CNY Arts Center as staff in the background. She appeared last year, or the past show that we did, Oliver, as Widow Corny. So it's not her first time with the CNY Arts Center, first time backstage. I have, like I said, Jessica Tetro as my stage manager. I have Nancy Fox and Amy Price are the producers.
Okay.
I have Sabrina Woodward, who is doing hair and makeup. I have Liz Ladd, who is doing costumes. I have Marguerite Beebe and Nick Pike, who are doing lights. I have Don Crow, who's my tech director. I, of course, have you, Matt Wood, as my graphic designer and scenic designer. I think that's everybody.
Yeah, well done.
A lot of great people.
Yeah, that's
that I
really
could not have done
awesome.
this without. So
yeah.
I thank all of you, because I wouldn't be able to do this.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, thanks so much. I want to thank the Seussical cast for being here. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And I cannot forget all of the parents that volunteer and are going to volunteer when we talk to them after the show to help out with the show as well, like sewing costumes, painting, wrangling kids backstage. Lots of really fun stuff that they're really going to love to do. So, yeah. Can't forget the parents. They're a huge, huge part, and we really want them involved because the CNY Arts Center is very much about community and family, and we want to make sure that they're involved as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, parents, for being parents and doing really cool stuff. Yeah. Applause for you.
Applause for the parents.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Thanks again for being on the show again, Adam Schmidtmann.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Keep us informed, and we'll be connecting again.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, speaking of Gina Holsapple, stay at the piano, kid. What are you gonna do for us?
I'm gonna do one of my own songs to help finish out the evening. Seven sunrises, 13 new moons, 52 spirits to walk me to the truth. Carried alone, straight through the year. It's what we don't know that brings us here. And I stopped asking, 'cause I don't know. The river runs for me, it knows where to go. At the top of every mountain, another lies behind, so I just stopped asking. I close my eyes and drift off to sleep on a whispered prayer and counted sheep. Another year passes, and I don't know where this one will take me. I stopped asking, 'cause I don't know. The river runs for me, it knows where to go. At the top of every mountain, another lies behind, so I just stopped asking. For everything I build, I knock something down, and every time I fly, I hit the ground.
Kokopelli, a legend, a myth, maybe, a real person, maybe based on many people. But the story behind Kokopelli is that he used to travel from village to village and from tribe to tribe, bringing stories, telling tales, bringing news from other villages and other tribes. And that was his job. One of the most common cave paintings in North America. This figure bent over with a flute to his mouth, humpback, 3 big clumps of hair coming out of the top of his head. Some folks used to say that he was actually a cricket, and he walked with his big antenna and sang the news of other villages. Some folks say that he was a man, and he would show up in your village, and when he left, everybody would get up in the morning, he would be gone, but spring would be there. The whole idea of bringing news, bringing stories from village to village was really intriguing. So one day, 2 young men put sacks on their backs, and they started walking. They left Tonkahogen, and they just started walking across the country. And they decided that they were going to bounce back and forth between logging camps, up through Canada, down into the northern United States, back up into Canada, covering thousands and thousands of miles over their years. And every time they explained to these lumberjacks in their camps at night what they were doing, they were always met with smiles and food and drink and a warm fire. Most of the lumberjacks, though, didn't fully understand the whole story behind Kokopelli himself. There was one lumberjack camp one night, sitting around the campfire all sharing stories, and these 2 young men showed up. And these lumberjacks had heard of these 2 young men before. So these 2 young men started explaining the story of Kokopelli and why it was important to them that they go from camp to camp. And one of the men, sitting back just out of the light of the campfire so they couldn't see him, started laughing and made a joke about how he thought that they had called themselves Coke and Pepsi. But it was Kokopelli that they had said, but he started laughing. And from that point on, these 2 young men were only known as Coke and Pepsi. And so when they showed up, you could hear the whispers. Coke and Pepsi are here. Everybody gather around. Coke and Pepsi are here. And these lumberjacks would ask about what was happening at other lumberjack camps. They would bring news of lumberjacks that had become fathers, news of lumberjacks that had died taking the logs down the rivers, or when a widowmaker got hung up in another tree and then fell on a group of men. There was always sadness that came with news, but there was always happiness. There was always love. There was always loss. Addiction would travel through the lumberjack camps. And all of these men started sharing their stories, and these 2 young men would carry their stories with them. By the time they decided it was time for them to go back to Tonkahogen and share with their own village all of the things that they had learned, they had gotten so many stories, they had gathered so many things, that they had to ask the lumberjacks in camps along the way to ship these massive trunks that they had padlocked. The lumberjacks never asked why, never asked for payment. They took care of it. They had so much respect for these 2 young men. And when these trunks all started arriving in Tonkahogen, the town members knew that something was happening. They knew that something was coming, but they didn't know the weight. They didn't know the depth of what they were about to receive. And these 2 young men showed up, and they had a town meeting. And in the middle of this hall, in the middle of town hall in Tonkahogen, they had cleared all of the chairs out to around the edges of the room, and they had unscrewed all of the light bulbs except for one that shone into the middle of that circle in the middle of the room. And they had all of their trunks lined up, and they went around with their keys, and they started unlocking all of the padlocks and opening these trunks. And as they opened these trunks, little pieces of paper, anywhere from the size of a stamp to the size of a piece of notebook paper, just started pouring out. And they just started taking them out and setting them on the floor. They called one young lady who was sitting on the floor in front of her parents. They called her over, and they handed her a paper sack full of all these little stamp-sized pieces of paper. And as she looked at it through squinted eyes, she turned to her mother and said, "It's a story." And they had recorded stories, all of these stories that they had learned from these lumberjack camps, all of the stories that they had shared of love and loss, time spent, education among men, and the news, the weather, the road conditions, things that they ate was all there. Years, thousands and thousands of miles worth of stories. At the end of that town hall meeting, there wasn't a word spoken. Everybody just walked out. They weren't sad. They just were without words. They didn't know what to say. How did they not know that these two men, not young anymore now, how did they not know that this is what they'd been doing? When those two men started clearing up their papers silently, they didn't need to speak with one another. They knew what was happening. They knew what the other was thinking, and they meticulously gathered up all of their papers, all of the stories that they had told all of the folks from the town. But hundreds, maybe thousands more stories went untold that night, of course, but meticulously stacking those papers back into their trunks, back into their bags. They realized there was one of the trunks had been pulled out of the circle. Weathered, beat up leather straps loosely hung from the top, but it was closed. One of them went over and reached to open it just as the other man put his hand on his shoulder, silently shook his head no, and he pointed to his ear, and he bent over. From inside that trunk, they could hear the voice of that little girl that they had given all of that paper bag full of those stamp-sized stories. They could hear the crinkle of the paper bag, and in her tiny, pitch-perfect voice, from the inside of that trunk, "This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Well, kids, you made it to the end of another exciting episode of On the Porch Radio Hour. And I want to give a ton of huge thanks to all of the Seussical cast members that came out and all of the parents and family members and friends that are here at the CNY Arts Center. And I want to thank Nancy Fox and everybody involved with the CNY Arts Center for letting us come in and use the space and record our show here. This is really awesome. We even have stage lights, and it's just fantastic. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And of course, I want to thank everybody that's watching live on Concert Window, and I want to thank everybody that's listening to it archived on our website at www.ontheporch.weebly.com. I want to remind you from my ripped reminder that there's no show on March 31st. March 17th. The 17th stayed behind. So we don't have a show on the 17th. We're going to be doing other things. And we don't have a show on the 31st either. But stay tuned because you can listen to our old episodes on those days. Don't go through On the Porch withdrawal. There's no reason for that. There's over, are you ready for this? 50 shows archived on that website. Yeah. Holy mackerel. And I'm on every one. I'm not. It's true. I went to Arizona for a while. I want to thank Cayuga Community College and their representative, John Lamphere. He was awesome. And I want to thank Nancy Fox again in the CNY Arts Center. Thank you, Adam Schmidtmann. Thank you, Seussical Cast. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I don't think I missed anything. I did miss something. No. So until then, whenever I give that list of stuff, I'll have to add another thing on. I don't know. Anyway, until we see you next time, peace to your journey.
On the Porch is a production of the Wooden Apple Farmstead with host and writer Matthew Wood. Our musical director is Gino Holsapple. Our stage manager is Ray Monet. Our sound technician is Maxwell Wood. This week's show is recorded live from the CNY Arts Center at the Cayuga Community College campus in Fulton, New York. This week's guests are director Adam Schmidtmann and the cast of CNY Arts Center's Seussical Jr. and Cayuga Community College's John Lamphere. Find information about past shows, being on the porch, and much more online at ontheporch.weebly.com.